mu cyerekezo 2050. Radio Imanzi 105.1 FM.
We got you updated. This is Radio Imanzi News in English.
You are tuned to Radio Imanzi, broadcasting from Kigali. Here is the news in English, brought to you by Fiona Umuganwa. The headlines. President Paul Kagame has awarded the Secretary General of International Telecommunication Union with the National Order of Honor Medal. Government officials have said that migrants said to be transferred from UK to Rwanda will be welcomed to fully furnished rooms equipped with different amenities to ensure they live in comfort. Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan is promising a better business environment for investors from Oman. Welcome back. News in detail. President Paul Kagame has awarded Haolin Zhao, Secretary General of International Telecommunication Union, with the National Order of Honor Medal. It is in recognition of his distinguished service as the leader of ITU during a very consequential period for the globalization of telecommunications technology. The National Order of Honor is awarded to a Rwandan or foreign head of state or head of government, the head of an international organization, or a high-ranking official who has distinguished himself or herself by acts promoting the interests of Rwanda in political, economic, and social welfare at national or international level. The government of Rwanda has once again defended the deal to take in migrants deported from the United Kingdom, saying it was ready to take in thousands under the innovative program. At a press conference held this afternoon, the government spokesperson, Yolande Makolo, said the agreement, criticized by the UN and human rights organizations, was a solution to a failing global asylum system. She said people can have their opinion on this program depending on where they come from or how it is portrayed in the media. But for Rwanda, it is about being part of a solution to a failing global asylum system. She added that Rwanda is doing it for good reasons and does not think it is immoral to offer people a home. According to government officials, migrants said to be transferred from UK to Rwanda will be welcomed to fully furnished rooms equipped with different amenities to ensure they live in comfort. The flight carrying the first group of asylum seekers and migrants from the UK is expected to land at Kigali International Airport tomorrow, June 15th. The number of those that will be on board is yet to be announced. The Ministry of Defense and the Dallaire Institute for Children, Peace and Security have renewed a 5-year memorandum of understanding for their commitment to the prevention of the recruitment and use of children in armed conflicts in Africa and around the globe. Mans Prince has this report.
The Minister of Defense, Major General Albert Murasira, and Shelley Whiteman, the Executive Director of the Dallaire Institute for Children, signed the renewal of this agreement that seeks to eradicate child soldiers. The Executive Director of the Dallaire Institute for Children, Shelley Whiteman, says this partnership document helps to define the roles that each of the institutions play in creating the African Center of Excellence that is here in Kigali.
We signed a renewal of a memorandum of understanding that we have between the Ministry of Defense and the Dallaire Institute for Children, Peace and Security. This is a renewal for another 5-year period. This particular document helps to define the roles that each of us play in creating the African Center of Excellence that we have here in Kigali, and the various activities we'll continue to carry out together. So far, it's been a very successful partnership where we've achieved great things together in terms of the numbers of troops that have been trained, but also in terms of our collaboration on the continent in other areas where the Rwandan Defense Forces are also present to try to help to build peace and stability on the continent. So collectively, this is our commitment to each other to work on how we implement the Vancouver Principles across the continent, share best lessons and practices, and continue to find ways to improve the conditions so that we build an Africa that's fit for all children.
Matt Heb, the Vice President of Government and Global Relations at Davos University, noted that the renewal of the MOU is a sign of progress and momentum.
We are very proud to host the Dallaire Institute, and it was our honor today to be part of the renewal of the MOU between the Dallaire Institute and the Ministry of Defense for the important work that they're doing. As a university, we're very committed to supporting this work and looking forward to the ways in which we can collaborate with partners in Rwanda and learn from our partners in Rwanda. Well, I think it's a terrific sign that the MOU is being renewed. I think this is a sign of progress and momentum. I think this important work will continue here in Rwanda and through partnerships across the continent.
The spokesperson of the Rwanda Defense Force, Colonel Ronald Kwivanga, emphasized in the importance of this partnership.
Yeah, so we've been working with the Institute for quite some time, and today was just a renewal of an existing partnership between the Republic of Rwanda through the Ministry of Defense and the Dallaire Institute. This is very important in as far as sensitizing the entire defense forces on the need to protect children involved in armed conflict. So this is very important to us. It concretizes our philosophy of protecting civilians. So children are a big component in this mission that we set out to do wherever we operate. So we find this very important for our institution.
The Center of Excellence exists to strengthen African capacity for research, training and policy development, and to foster innovative, regionally appropriate strategies to prevent the recruitment of youth of children as soldiers. The institute was founded by retired Lieutenant General Romeo Dallaire, a humanitarian, retired Canadian senator and former force commander of the United Nations Assistance Mission in Rwanda between 1993 and 1994.
Thank you, Manzi Prince. Rwanda is said to start cornea transplantation operations in August this year. Manzi Prince with more.
The Rwanda Biomedical Center RBC has announced that in August it will begin cornea tissue transplant operations at the Rwanda Military Hospital. The initiative will promote medical tourism by catering to the needs of people in need of such operations from the region and beyond. Corneal transplantation restores visual function when visual impairment caused by a corneal disease comes too severe. Professor Benjamin Ondrushka emphasizes more on the corneal tissue transplantation process.
There are millions of persons suffering from severe eye diseases, and the onlyest thing to do and to go for a health program is to transplant another corneal tissue. And of course, the corneal tissue can't be removed from a living person, but it's allowed within an close post-mortem interval after death to store these from dead people, persons after death, and without quality losses you can transplant this to the living persons with eye diseases.
The Director General of RBC noted that in Rwanda there are many diseases that affect the cornea, hence the initiative.
It's really an area we think is going to support some of the patients who are in need of cornea. And we expect not only to serve Rwandan patients, but also patients in the regions to see how we can even export the cornea to countries in need of cornea. So in Rwanda, we have many diseases that affect the cornea, and we think that if this cornea tissue bank is established, we'll be able to probably support and really manage those cases where there's a need of cornea transplant.
According to the World Health Organization, approximately 1.3 billion people live with some form of vision impairment globally, and 8% of all vision impairment are considered avoidable.
The city of Kigali has announced that over 2,000 female motor riders are said to adopt electric motorcycles to generate income while greening the transport sector. The move is in line with the country's targets to reduce by 38% greenhouse gases that are blamed for global warming by 2030, considering that the transport sector is among the biggest emitters. According to Rwanda Environment Management Authority, over 30,000 motorcycles could be transformed into electric motorcycles over the next 5 years. Martin Urujeni, the vice mayor in charge of socio-economic affairs in the city of Kigali, said that at least 120 vulnerable women who are school dropouts, vulnerable single mothers, delinquents, and former street vendors are being trained on using electric motorcycles in partnership with a local company, Safi Universal Link. To say that the move is also in line with the goal to increase all farm jobs in the country, as it seeks to have increased 1.5 million as it seeks to have created 1.5 million jobs by 2024. The United Nations Tribunal has said Felicien Kabuga is fit to stand trial. Gaston Chibigango with more.
A UN tribunal at The Hague has ruled that Felicien Kabuga, an alleged financier of the 1994 genocide, is fit to stand trial after his defense attorneys failed to establish that he is unfit for trial. In May 2021, lawyers of Mr. Kabuga requested that charges against him be dropped on the ground that he is unfit for trial. Once one of the Rwanda's richest men, Kabuga allegedly helped set up hate media that urged ethnic Hutus to kill the Tutsi and funded militia groups. Kabuga was arrested on May 16, 2020 in a Paris suburb after 25 years on the run. He's facing 7 counts including genocide, incitement to genocide and persecution. Kabuga is currently in detention in The Hague awaiting trial before the Mechanism for International Criminal Tribunals, which is completing the work of the disbanded International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda.
Some items of international news on Radio Imanzi.
The Democratic Republic of Congo is said to deposit the East African Community admission instruments this week. Manzi Priest with more.
A UN tribunal.
The Democratic Republic of Congo has completed internal processes of ratifying the East African Community Treaty. It signed in April, and it is expected to deposit instruments of that approval to the East African Community Secretary General this week. After DRC signed the accession treaty of the East African Community on April 8th, becoming the 7th member of the bloc, the country was given 5 months to complete the process, which would see it integrated into the region. Some of these processes included approval by Kinshasa's parliament and having its ministries and internal organs allied with requirements of the East African Community pillars, such as the Customs Union and the Common Market Protocol. With the DRC now a member of the East African Community, the population of the bloc is a quarter of Africa's population, which approximately is 260 million and a combined GDP of $240 billion. The East African community now spans from the Indian Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean, making the region competitive and easy to access the larger African Continental Free Trade Area.
Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan is promising a better business environment for investors from Oman seeking to leverage her country's historical ties with the Middle East nation. The head of state, who is making a second visit to the Middle East this year, says her administration is making it easier for foreign investors to enter the local market, including guaranteeing the safety of their investments with political certainty. Kenya has reintroduced a levy on eggs imported from its neighbor Uganda. Ruchibigango with more.
Kenya is now taxing eggs from Uganda at a rate of $0.6 a tray, bringing back a levy that has been suspended last December following bilateral talks between Kampala and Nairobi. However, Ugandan traders have protested the move, saying it does not go well with the spirit of the East African community. The new trade disagreement comes at a time when the two countries are yet to resolve a long-standing dispute on milk. Kenya and Uganda have for long had trade fights. In 2019, Kenya stopped importing Ugandan milk, particularly the Lato brand. In 2020, Kenya also blocked Ugandan sugar in sugar canes, costing traders who are exporting raw cane to sugar mills billions of shillings as the raw materials left to rot on trucks at the border. The key agricultural exports to Uganda from Kenya include palm oil, sorghum, vegetables and legumes.
Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has, for the first time, said his government is open to negotiations with the Northern Tigray rebels. Dr. Abiy, responding to queries from members of the House of Representatives today, said his administration has set up a committee to spearhead the talks. The committee that is headed by his deputy has 10 to 15 days to work out on details of agendas for negotiations. Social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook and TikTok will be required to register and open offices in Nigeria and appoint contact persons with the government. This regulation forms part of the new draft regulations from the National Information Technology Development Agency. This comes 6 months after Nigeria lifted a ban on the usage of Twitter in the country. In a published statement on their website, the National Information Technology Development Agency says the new code of practice for interactive computer service platforms and internet intermediaries is meant to curb online abuse, including disinformation and misinformation.
Economic news is a regular feature on Radio Imanzi.
Now the Rwanda Stock Exchange market report. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 7,140,000 Rwandan francs worth of bonds traded in one deal on the fixed income market and 245,100 Rwandan francs from 5,700 I&M Bank shares traded in one deal on the equities market. I&M Bank closed the counter at 43 Rwandan francs. Brairwa at 160 Rwandan francs. Bank of Kigali at 265 Rwandan francs. Simerwa at 120 Rwandan francs. M10 Rwanda at 178 Rwandan francs. Equity Bank at 440 Rwandan francs. Kenya Commercial Bank at 370 Rwandan francs. National Media Group at 1,200 Rwandan francs. Uchumi Supermarket at 104 Rwandan francs. And RH Buffalo closed the counter at 526 Rwandan francs as the market closed. The currency market review of today. The Kenyan shilling buying price was 8.6 Rwandan francs, and the selling price was 8.8 Rwandan francs. Tanzanian shilling was buying price was 0.43, and the selling price was 0.44. Ugandan shilling buying price was 0.27, and the selling price was 0.276. Burundian franc buying price was 0.49, and the selling price was 0.5. The US dollar buying price was 1,012 Rwandan francs, and the selling price was 1,033. The British pound buying price was 1,234, and the selling price was 1,259. The euro buying price was 1,056, and the selling price was 1,077 Rwandan francs. With that, we come to the end of tonight's edition. I am Fiona Umuganwa.